Sure,
It
ma'am.
was my son's birthday also, ma'am, on 4th.
Mine was 2nd.
Okay.
Convey my birthday wishes to your son, Divya.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Lots of blessings and birthday wishes to the little boy.
Thank you, ma'am.
He used to roam around when you were in the
I
class.
know,
I have
yeah.
seen him.
Even I have seen him. Last class he was watching
He was
Muskan ma'am.
actually about to talk to you. Actually, in every class, he want to talk to every teacher.
No
And
problem.
he liked
Please
to
do
talk.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, ma'am.
I would love to.
Not
Thank
even
you,
to
ma'am.
teachers, you can talk to us also, trainees also.
Yeah, kids are favorite students, you know.
Okay.
Kids of that age, especially. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How old is he? Small boy, right?
7 years, ma'am.
Okay.
So he's completed 7 now.
No, he
At
has
least
completed
completed
6. 6,
Six.
yes, ma'am.
All right, wonderful.
He's
Okay.
very talkative.
Okay.
Every child is these days.
Yes, ma'am.
Vijay Kumari Archana ma'am is inviting us to Delhi for the treat, birthday treat.
Really? Wow,
Yes,
super, ma'am.
virtual treat. If you want virtual treat, any moment. Yeah. First, you have to come to Delhi.
Okay.
Sure, ma'am. If any conference I am attending in Delhi, means surely I'll come, ma'am.
For sure. Let's meet. Yeah. 100%. I would love to meet.
Sure, ma'am. I too.
No, meeting always takes it to the next level.
Yes.
All right. So, how was the last week?
Was good, ma'am.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw that class after 2 days, ma'am. That too in the office. But even I could not control my emotions and.
Actually, you did that
Huh?
meditation?
Yes, ma'am. That meditation, the meditation was fine actually. The 8484, that one it was okay. But after that was the clean slate and all it. I didn't expect that kind of class on that day. So I was just viewing on when I was in the office, but could not manage. So I came in the night and it was really a good experience, ma'am.
Wonderful.
And I want to ask you one thing: the breathing you were talking about, we have to follow the 8484 pattern, or what is it every day?
Initially, start with 3663, then take it to 4884. Yeah.
Okay.
Then slowly, gradually take it to 1632, 3216. So that's D. Yeah. That's what
Ma'am,
Sudarshan Kriya is all about.
I am practicing it daily. So I could manage it up to 10, 20, 20, 10.
Wonderful, wonderful. See, practice everything for 7 days.
4884.
That's
so
good
I can go about that also.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that, but we can, until what time? Around 15 minutes we can do a day.
Yeah. 15 minutes is more than enough. 5 to 10 minutes is good. And there should not be any discomfort in the body when you are doing this meditation, not even once. So when we do it in chain or in a sequence, then there is a discomfort that we start facing if we have not practiced it well. Right? So to reach that stage, it's a slow pace. Go on a slow pace, learn, enjoy the entire experience of doing breathing techniques. It's a wonderful experience. Do it with an intention that I want to lose weight. For example, I'm just giving an example that I have to lose the extra body fat, which is disturbance for my body, and you will see that is happening. It will happen.
Okay.
Focus. The breathe when you are taking in, it will focus on the parts where the fat is extra and unhealthy.
Okay.
And then it will help you reduce that.
I'm keeping an alarm for 10 minutes and then doing. Is it okay, or we have to?
Yeah, you can put it on alarm, not an issue. Yeah. Okay. See, alarm and all these gadgets are basically tools to increase the experience of meditation, right? And that's what we are doing. I don't think there was a challenge for all of you to understand.
But when
and then be able
was
to do
explaining about this alarm, ma'am, he said for waking up, you need not. It's not necessary for you to. It's not good for waking up with an alarm. But I am practicing it. If I think that I have to wake up at 4 o'clock, I can, ma'am, now.
You can do that easily.
I was able to do that actually.
Just tell your pillow that it should wake you up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it will automatically happen. You will
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Matlab,
It
see,
works.
these are the
works, actually.
intentions. Yeah.
I saw
That's how I have learned.
Sadhguru's speech on some, I don't know in which topic he was speaking, but on that day, that question was asked, and he was explaining that you should not keep alarm for waking up. You have to do it on
it
your own.
disturbs.
But I
Because it's
tried
very
it,
sudden.
It was
Yeah.
working. It was working. It is working.
It's very sudden. And sometimes your body tells you that you need time to wake up. So give it time. It's all right. I don't know why people are in so hurry. I really don't think. I never use alarm. I don't wake up till the time I'm ready to wake up. No matter if my husband has to share the responsibility, it's all right. You know? He knows that she will take time. So that's how. See, slowly people will start gradually change around you when you start accepting yourself. So first you have to accept. That's very, very important thing. The major trouble, especially with women, is that we don't accept ourselves. We don't give time because we think that it's all our responsibility.
Yes, ma'am. We're not taking time.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
exactly.
trust me that gradually people start adjusting to your needs and requirements. They will. If they love you, if they really care about you, people have no inhibitions of accepting you the way you are. So they will do that. But do it slowly so that it's not really a sudden shock for them. कि अचानक क्या हो गया इनको, So that's how it should be.
Ma'am,
All right. Yeah. Yes, please, Vijay.
ma'am, I'm heartfully thankful to you, ma'am, because last week you gave one to forgiveness, no, ma'am. Definitely, ma'am. I'm truly saying that it was worked, ma'am.
Very good. Wonderful.
After 1.5 years, actually, I don't know how to tell my happiness, and I don't know, ma'am. Really, ma'am, that time I really truthfully, heartfully, I wrote the odd that what you had told to what are the incidents, and I erased and I forgive that person. Really, ma'am, today they called and asked me sorry. I don't know how to tell and how to.
Wow. See, that's wonderful thing.
Vijay Kumari, we are coming to your home for the pepper rice now.
I know, it's so beautiful. Such a feeling, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
After 1.5 years, I was really painful in my heart. I feel that I felt some mistake due to some misunderstanding. But I'm really happy, ma'am. I don't know how to express my thanks to you, ma'am. Really.
No, it's not me. See,
showed-
everything is doing by the Almighty. Trust me that, right? We are just a medium. We are just exchanging the words. That's all. Right?
Thank you.
And
Ma'am,
today,
I also want to share that, ma'am, but for her it worked, but for me, when I think of that, and I could not control my emotion till the end of the day, ma'am. Whenever I think of that, tears coming out, and I could not manage, so I didn't do it for the next time, ma'am.
It happens, yeah. See, when you have so much of storage of emotion in you, it takes time for it to come out. It takes time. And for some people, for some people, it has taken days, months, for the cleaning to happen. Right? And it will happen slowly. Do it yourself on your own time, gradually. You will see there is a huge change in you. Even after this course will be over, if you keep practicing all these things, you will say thank you to Kavita ma'am and to me for teaching these techniques, and because these techniques work. And that is why we are believer of that, and that's the reason why we are sharing these techniques with you. Right?
And before going to ma'am, from the Sunday onwards, I'm regularly following. Before going to bed, I'm forgiving all those who hurt me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling.
Really, ma'am, it's really, by saying this, I feel happy.
Yeah, because you are lighter yourself. Now you're not taking that burden on you. Simple sa technique hai, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It has nothing to do with we are forgiving everybody else. It's just that they don't need that much of space in our mind, especially during the sleep. So
And
sleeping
this
hours should
recording
be
also helps a lot.
beautiful. Okay.
This recording also helps a lot, because when I'm trying with the words you are saying, no, I'm trying with only the words for the past 3 days. I'm using the YouTube link, and that works more actually.
Very nice. Good. And today, it's not really the first thing. Even before this class today, I had given healings to somebody. Like healing ki baat kar rahe the. And 3 people called since morning that things have changed for us. The intentions that we gave were working. So I'm really happy that today is a very special day, that people are just sharing these experiences. So this feeling is really good.
Ma'am, we have to make us also like that, ma'am.
You are already like that. We are all like that. No? It's just that practicing. My only mantra is practicing. That's it. Learn. See, somebody, so many people are there. We learn from each other. And then you have to practice it so that you can change your body. Right? Body and obviously emotion and spiritual side of it. All right. So I don't think anybody else would be joining in. Nanjini would join in later. So let's start the class, right? So today's topic is communication. I'll just share the PPT. So very important topic, in fact. All other things that we have talked about, that we had spoken about, it all comes down to the effective communication part. So let's understand from all of you that what do you feel that what should be communication? What is communication all about?
Whatever we think, we have to execute to the other person, or we have to make the other person to understand what we want to say.
Right. Okay.
Communication is,
Yeah.
ma'am, something. It is exchange of our ideas, exchange of our emotions, exchange of our thoughts with one person, whatever is there in our mind, and we are able to make them understand. It may be in any language, it may be in any form, but the person should be exchanged completely.
Very good. Okay. Vijaya?
Yes, ma'am. Communication is the expression of our mind, what we are want to express ourselves by through words or by letters or by any languages, any signing also, ma'am. Communication may differ in word, anything, ma'am.
Okay. So if in simple words we have to say what communication is, how are you going to say it?
Effective
exchange of message or
emotions,
exchange of content, message, emotions.
Content.
Yeah, whatever we have to say.
yes,
Correct. Yeah. With the other person. And then what about receiving?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you think
Receiving is
communication
important.
is complete without receipt?
No,
only if the
no,
receiver
it won't.
understands it, ma'am.
yes, it should be
receiving
clear.
is important. Yes, ma'am.
Very true. So that is the reason, when we talk to a child, the way we communicate is different. And
Yes.
when we talk to an adult, our communication is
Person
totally
to person
different.
it differs. Yes.
Right. So why
Yes,
it differs? Because we ensure that whatever we have to say and convey, it should go in the mind of that person. They should be receptive about it. That's the reason why we talk very differently in a different tone with a child. You cannot go to your boss and talk, my baby, my poochu, and you cannot use these things. So it's very important that certain things are there, right? So effective communication is basically exchange of ideas, emotions, content, message, whatever you want to say, and letting it be received by the other person.
Not
And
only by
how
words, but also by action.
Yeah,
Patting on your
actions
shoulder,
and-
it's also a
very,
communication.
very true. Very true. Yeah. So, and how do you ensure that the person has received it? How will we ensure that the entire process has taken place or it has been completed?
When he responds back.
Very good. So there is a response, so there is a feedback which is attached to it. Correct? That's how you do it, right? So that's a normal communication. So this is how the communication is basically described. The communication is the act of expressing or transmitting any ideas, information, knowledge, thoughts, and feelings, as well as understanding what is expressed. Because whatever the intentions behind those words is also should be expressed in a nice manner, right? The communication process involves both sending and receiving messages, and it takes many forms. Right. So major two forms of communications are verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Right. So generally in management terms, what we use and how we actually explains it, that how management, how verbal and non-verbal communication really effectively be used is only 8% of our communication is verbal communication. Rest 92% is basically broken down into non-verbal communication, which is listening, the gestures, the body language. Right? Do you believe that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it happens.
Correct. So that's how it happens. So what is communication? essential communication skills for our career as a coach. Listening is very important. Being friendly is very important. Open-mindedness, feedback, confidence, and nonverbal communication. Right? So these are 6 essential parts of communication skills, no matter in which area of work you are. But for a coach, why it is more important? Because most of the time as a coach, you are explaining, or you are spending your time with your mentees or people who are coming to you as a student in communicating, right? Most of these times, our talks, most of your sessions would be designed in a manner that they would be, even if you are explaining somebody a meditation technique or a yoga asana in a detailed form, how are you going to do it? So there would be a proper and effective communication that has to happen between two people for them to able to understand whatever you are saying, right? And to make anything very effective is basically doing a mastery in these things, 6 skills. So one is listening, which we have already spoken about in many of the classes, but we will talk about it today as well. Friendliness is basically intent that has to go, that you're forming a collaboration with that person, you're forming a relationship with that person, so that that person can have that trust and faith in you. Because I was talking to one of the person who gave me this feedback that things are working for him for these healing sessions. He said very beautiful one thing, about friendliness. He said it takes a lot of time. People say that we are not able to trust, we are not able to have faith on anybody. But if we move around, if we see all around us, it's everything is basis of faith and trust, right? Even if you are going to a market, you have to have a trust. Even if you are going to a doctor, you have to have that belief. So all these things are so importantly imbibed in all of us, in our culture, in that manner. And still, if we say that we don't trust people, it really doesn't work that way, right? So that friendliness has to come with faith and belief in whosoever you're talking to. And with that faith and belief, we mean that you are able to concentrate on the fact that the person is able to receive what you are saying, right? So half of the time it's our intention that makes them understand the entire thing, and obviously rest is their own knowledge and information and the way they have spent their life, and that's how they actually start trusting you for the entire process. Then open-mindedness, especially from, because I personally wanted to incorporate this particular thing of open-mindedness for coaching is very important, is because uh, if we start bringing our prejudices and biases in any of the session, then obviously it is going to create a problem, right? Like I was giving you an example that suppose there is a person who is from LGBTQ, people who are gays or lesbians, who comes to you for session. They want peace of mind, they want emotional satisfaction or contentment. And if you as a coach start judging them, how it is going to make an impact on their life, right? So even if our little bit thoughts, even if our little bit judgment is clouded by the prejudices or stereotypes, that's how the society thinks, we as a coach will not be able to do justice to the job that we are being assigned to. Right? So it's very important that anything that comes to us, anything that is there, we need to open our heart and mind for that, for the acceptance to happen fully. If you won't be able to do that, then it would be a very, very half-hearted process, and it will not yield that kind of results that you're really looking forward to. Right? Then आता है आपका feedback. Again, very, very important tool, very important to happen. And trust me, most of the corporations, corporate offices, most of the people in relationships, personal, professional, as such, they are all facing this problem of feedback. Right? One, the feedback is not given. Second, the way we give feedback is always very destructive. Right? Third, that the communication that has to happen after giving the feedback doesn't happen. Right? So these 3 things actually spoils the entire relationship thing that has to happen between 2 people. So for a coach, again, it's very important. Once you have started understanding the problems of a person, right? Because for a coach, what happens is that what people are saying, generally, that's not really the problem is. In 90% of cases, what people come to you, ki mujhe ye problem hai, this is the challenge I'm facing, this is the real thing, that actually is never the thing. There is always something which is behind the entire scenario. So in order to find that out, you engage them with your communication, with your different skills, techniques, and other things. Then after that, you start giving them feedback. and feedback has to be given in a very positive manner. So that positive communication has to happen between two of you so that people can understand also. You can be polite, but has to be very firm about what you are saying. You have to be very straightforward about giving feedback so that people, because people, अगर हम ज़्यादा sugar coat कर देते हैं चीजें, then also people don't understand the entire thing. So sugar coat it to a level that it becomes positive, but don't make it look like that you're just sharing some information. Give them as a feedback so that they start working on it. Right? That's how. So we call it very effective criticism, or we call it positive criticism that you can give to person so that they can start working on the feedback. Then आता है आपका confidence. Right? You must have seen that people who are public speakers, right, whether they know English as a language or Hindi or any other language, one thing that they carry with them is confidence. Right? That's how they become very effective communicators. That's how they become very effective public speakers. So that has to happen when you are confident about the content that you have. So confidence is always related to the content that you have prepared. So that content is जो भी information, जो भी data, जो भी चीज आपके पास है, whatever you want to convey to the person, that has to be very concrete, very crisp. Right? There should not be any doubts in your mind that whatever way I have gathered this information or I don't have full knowledge about it. Right? So for example, if you're sharing some asanas with somebody, right, and you have never practiced that asana practically, you know about it theoretically, you have studied about it in the classroom, but you've never practiced it on your body. So how are you going to explain it to the other person? So one way is that even if you have not practiced it, you with your confidence, you are so sure that whatever I have studied, I can pass it on very confidently. Second is that you have practiced it, and from your own experiences, then you create your own story and share it with the person. Right? So confidence has to play a very, very major role when you are communicating with the person. And your confidence will only come with the content, data, information, research that you have done. Okay? Next आता है आपका non-verbal communication. Like I just said in previous slides, that 92% of our communication happens non-verbally. The way our eyes talk, the way our gestures, the body language, things in between the lines, so many things, the way we pass on our emotions or feelings to the person, right? No matter, even if somebody is telling you look beautiful, but they don't really mean it, you will be able to judge it, right? You will be able to really gather that information that this person is actually just saying it from their mouth, but they're not really intending it, right? So it's very important that your non-verbal communication is always practiced so well that people will not be able to find a difference between what you're speaking and what you're showing to them. Right? So if you're thankful about something, show it. There are so many things. Our eyes actually speak before we say gratitude or we say thank you. Right? So that's how the non-verbal communication has to happen. Now, why communication is needed in coaching? These are few things that I could gather. Number one is coaches need to be able to clearly communicate expectations, goals, and standards. Right? So from very first class onwards, that's what we were talking about, that our goals has to be on the same level, that you will be able to at least judge or find out what exactly is there in the mind of the people who have come to me. Right? Half of our job actually is done once the goals are set. Right? After that, it's just that, you have to really work on those actions. So you have to take action on those goals. Then obviously things are not really that troublesome. Right? So half of your job is basically done when you are doing the expectation setting. Right? That what you need from me and whether I'll be able to give all that. And then rest of the thing goes into planning the things that you have to give. Last is measurement of those things. Right? So coaches has to be very clear about standards, expectations, and goals, right? And their communication to the other person. Then second is we have to instruct a lot as a coach, encourage, discipline, organize, and provide feedback like we discussed, right? So as a coach, these are the few things that we normally do. That's the cycle in how we work. We have to give them instruction after the goal setting, then you have to encourage them to do something. Right? People are not able to do some asana, they are finding difficulty. Some meditation techniques are not working for people, and you give them those techniques. some other techniques, if you know, EFT or any other thing, Reiki hai, koi bhi cheez, jo bhi aap iske saath additionally karoge baad mein, and then you want to convey to the person, but how you have to convey to the person is by encouraging. So then motivation has to come, right? So that's for passing on that motivation to other person, you should look motivated. Imagine now if I sit slouchy out here, गर्दन झुका के बहुत सुस्ती में मैं बैठी हूँ, टोपी वोपी पहन के, स्कार्फ वार्फ बांध के, what kind of body language will it communicate, right? So that's how passing on the communication. So it's not just that, we catch the nonverbal communication when we are meeting people offline. Online, maybe there are so many ways that people actually tell that I am not really interested, I don't want to convey everything to you, I'm just here for formality, so many different ways. So that's how we have to do that. Then discipline. Major portion of our discipline comes from, चाहे बच्चों के लिए हो, classrooms के अंदर हो, or maybe for things. And discipline is nothing to do with that we have to give them a danda, or there is a stick in your hand and you are becoming a master. It's nothing like that. Discipline is a very beautiful word. We have actually, from our school learnings, we have taken it to a different level altogether. So discipline is like, getting up on time, be on time for the classes. So that time management thing comes from discipline, right? And your time management can never be fully done or fully be accomplished till the time you have very good communication. So all these things are related to each other. So there are a few skills that we keep talking about that we need in one person, right? Especially for the leaders or for the coach. So skills like, people should have problem solving, decision making, analytical skills, time management skills. But all these skills are actually incomplete till the time you don't have proper communication or effective communication skills, right? So that is very, very important. So discipline is basically all about your time management, punctuality, the way you are dressed up, right? The way you are dealing with the people, the way you are actually, very fresh and motivated yourself. Right? So imagine as a coach, because 100% time पे ये होगा, all your coaches will not do something. किसी ने कभी presentation नहीं बनाया होगा, किसी ने कुछ काम नहीं किया होगा, so there would be something. So how are you going to give them that discipline and encouragement? Has to be a lot with how you are going to communicate with them. Right? Then organizing. So we talked about expectations and goal settings. So goal settings कैसे होगा till the time we are not organized. The goal setting, each session has to be such organized that you're not giving more than 45 minutes to one person. Imagine a movie, a very beautiful movie, in fact. Which one was that? Shah Rukh Khan and Alia Bhatt. Zindagi something. I don't remember the name. Yeah, Love You Zindagi. So my son says, let's Love You Zindagi. So Love You Zindagi mein, there was very, very important scene when Shah Rukh Khan was getting involved with her emotionally. But still, as the time gets up, so he always used to tell her that the time is up now. So even if I'm emotionally getting involved with the person, because as a psychiatrists are the major coaches that we have in our life, right? So he used to always tell her that, no matter what, I am so organized that all my other sessions are also scheduled. So I really won't be able to give you more than 45 minutes of 1 hour session that we have. And that's the skill that as a coach, we have to bring in our life, that everything that we are doing has to be very, very organized and in a proper manner, right? Organized comes from the word organization. Organization means finding out the hierarchy, किस तरीके से आप काम करेंगे. Your planning has to be done in a proper manner, a step-by-step description of whatever you are going to teach or what you are going to tell them. Right? Even if it is an asana, I'm sure Kavita ma'am would have told you in a very organized manner. Right? पहले प्राणायाम के बारे में बताया होगा, फिर हाथ योगा, फिर advanced yoga, so there is a proper way of organizing thing and then conveying it. So all your goals and expectations that you have set with your coaches or your mentees, it has to be organized so beautifully that it would smoothly work out your entire plan of how you're going to work. And then provide feedback, which we have already discussed. So, feedback is very, very important. I actually have seen so many companies facing problems purely because there was not proper feedback or enough feedback which was given to people. Right? Whether we call it performance management system, whether we give evaluation, measurement, colleges के अंदर, schools के अंदर, you know, there is always a problem that the proper feedback is never given to a child or to a employee or to a worker. If that starts happening in our life, half of the relationship that goes spoiled, or half of the things that we are not able to understand or get involved with, we'll be able to make changes with that. Right? Next skill आता है, need of communication is basically the interpretation of the things. Right? Like you all beautifully said initially when we were talking, talking about how the communication is basically described. So very importantly, interpretation of how a person is actually taking your communication or whatever you want to convey creates a huge amount of either a trouble or effective communication. The interpretation has to do a lot of things. Like that is the reason why, you know, you will see that especially in a group environment, when you're going to talk to somebody, right? One to one, you can still be able to judge, or you can map that, you know, what the person really needs, what's their requirement. In a group, it gets a little difficult because everybody has their own different needs, everybody has their own different requirements, right? So now in this scenario, imagine you as a teacher is going to, you as a coach is going to give them the information and the data and the different techniques. But how do you ensure that the interpretation of the entire thing that you are speaking as a coach is actually reaching to their level? Right? So that's very important that most of the public speakers, most of the speakers, most of the effective communicators ensures that they are aware about the audience that they are going to address. They research about their audience a lot, whether it is one person or it's a group. So they find out what is the demographic, what is the age group, what kind of people are going to, what is their qualification, so that they can change the entire content according to the needs and requirements of the people. Right? Imagine now you are giving examples. Suppose you are a coach or you are a public speaker, you are giving an example, a room full of young people, and you are a lot of giving examples of people who are either very experienced or very old. Right? That is not how it is going to create a benefit to them. So it's very important that keeping interpretation in mind, or keeping how the reception is going to happen for the content and the message, you design your entire communication. Right? That's the sign of a good communicator. Because you know, as a coach, आपके पास अलग-अलग age group के लोग आएंगे. Right from a 5-year-old parents to 70 years old people. So they can all need life coaching. They can all need yoga life coaching. And how you are going to talk or engage them in the conversation with you related to their challenges and problems is all related to how beautifully or effectively your communication is taking place with them. Then आता है intention. Right? What is intention according to you?
The purpose, ma'am, the why we are doing.
Correct. Why we are doing, and why do we do something that we have to do? Suppose as a coach, you are a coach now, and you have to give coaching to somebody on anything, right? So what is the intention that you should have?
Whatever problems that to be solved, that is our intention.
Right. So very importantly that, you know, we need to be aware about the challenges or the issues that a person has, right? And then you put your intention to that whatever is the outcome of this entire conversation or the sessions that we are going to deal with, or whether it is one single session or there are multiple sessions that is going to happen. So the intention behind that is that we will be able to close down onto the goals that we have described, right? Or we will be able to find out the solutions to the problems, and then we will take actions accordingly. Right, Vijay? Yeah, got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then आता है आपका, not really last, least, but very important, listening. Right? Now, the people say that listening is very easy. It's not really a problem. But then half of the time we forget about whatever we actually hear, because it is the selective hearing which has happened, right? We don't really listen to the words so that we can gather in our mind. That is the reason why these two words are not used interchangeably. People never use synonyms ke saath hear or listen, because they are two different words, they are two different meanings. Intentionally also and unintentionally also, even in dictionary also they don't say that, right? Because hear is something that you have just heard, right? It may not be restored in your brain. It may not go into your memory. You may not be able to recollect it or connect with it later on. But listening is something that you do intentionally. You do with intent, right? A lot of things has to go into that.
You
And
grasp
that is
it,
the
you
reason.
grasp what you hear.
Yeah. So most of the time with the intention that whatever the other person is saying, I am able to grasp all that, right? Then also 100% nahi ho pata hai, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of encouragement from both the sides that to happen, right? But even if we take whatever is the other person saying, even if we are able to listen to 30-40% of what the person is able to convey, we will be able to gather the information so beautifully that we are able to give them a better solutions, right? Imagine if you just hear and don't record the conversations, right? What will happen then? We will not be
Nothing
able
will
to
happen, ma'am. We don't
comprehend.
know what
Yeah,
we heard. So
correct.
just a hears.
Right. So we will not be able to ever be giving, we will not be able to come to a conclusion, or we will never be able to give them a complete solutions to whatever the person is actually intending. Right. So that's the reason why listening is so important. And listening, now imagine now you're listening with intention, with giving importance to interpretation, with the thought that you are encouraging, discipline, organizing, as well as you are giving them goals and expectations. So this is how your effective communication has to work. And effective communication is not about just studying and sharing this information with one another. Again, it's all about practicing. Right? You have to practice. That is the reason why, in IELTS, suppose if you have given IELTS exam ever, right? So IELTS exam mein kya hota hai? There is a specific test of listening which happens, right? They test your speaking spoken English, but they also test your listening English. Why do they do that? Because they know that effective communication has to happen in a strange city, but you are able to understand. Now you are able to speak English is fine, but whether you are able to understand how, in what accent people are talking to you is also very important, right? Because majority of the time people actually fail their IELTS exam purely for listening and vocabulary, right? So that's very, very important thing. Now there are important things, the skills that we were talking about, which are related to effective communication. So number one is decision-making skills. Why decision-making skill is important for a coach?
Only if we decide what to do and how to proceed when the process or something, only then we will be able to execute it, ma'am.
Yeah, but why decision-making?
Ma'am, being a coach, we have to decide many things, like what kind of therapies to be given, what kind of problem is coming. We have to pay proper attention to listen. We have to properly listen their problem, and then we have to decide what is going to work for them. To decide to reach at certain decision, it is very important. Decision making skill is very important.
Yeah, we should not get confused what to do, whether we can do this, whether we can do that or not. So we have to have a clear understanding what to do, and that is decision making now.
Right. So in decision making, what are the steps that you generally take care of? So let me, share an example with you. So suppose you have to decide to go for a movie tonight, right? So what is going to happen in your decision making process? How are you going to make a decision about that?
Which movie, number one, we are going?
Whether we have a ticket, and we don't have any other job than any other work that time.
Whether the movie suits my kids or not.
Very true. That's also very important. So whatever is mentioned in this picture out here, I'm sure you are able to see that, right? What you said and shared right now is that whether the tickets are available or not, whether, movie is good for my child, whether we have time or any other work, all these things are inputs, okay, that you are going to actually look after, talk about. Then there is a huge amount of risk which is involved, right, in our decisions all the time, whatever decisions we take. Sometimes keeping this example in mind for choosing a movie, suppose we have heard the reviews, that reviews are really good, movie is so good, but we don't know whether the kind of likings that we have is matching with the reviews, right? Most of the time it happened with me. People have said very good about the movies, that it's wonderful and all that, and once you actually start watching the movie, you realize it's really waste of time. Right? So that's what. So there is always a risk involved about your decision making, that is there, or there is a reward, right? That you really enjoy the entire process, that you really enjoy that whatever decision you have taken, the decision has actually landed in the right way, in the right manner, and hence it has reaped you a lot of rewards, or the action has really come to a very beautiful outcome, right? So there is always an impact, whether it is risk or reward, that has to come, right? Then there is a small amount of luck also in that. Though people scientifically, management don't believe in that, right? People generally say that luck has nothing to do with it. It's proper research that has to happen, and that makes your decision making. But even if you have taken, from my experiences, from a lot of researches that I have read about decision making, most of the people have said that even if we have done 100% research, we were very concrete about the idea of that the thing will land up with a beautiful outcome or a positive outcome. It has not, purely because at somewhere that less amount of percentage of luck, but that has played beautifully around the entire decision making process, right? For example, this movie ticket wala thing, let's take and think that you decide that you are going for the movie, timing is free, your children, the movies look like that, everything is good, you land up out there. Even if you got the tickets, somehow there is some problem in the hall, the electricity goes, there is no generator available, right? So what are these factors? Either we consider these factors as luck, or we can call them external factors which has created a disturbance in the round, right? So our decision making is all impacted about with these things, which is inputs, risk, rewards, impact, perspective, a lot of time, luck, and huge amount of research. Okay, that's how. So where communication has come into the entire process of decision making. Why do we call decision making skill as an important effective communication?
Only when we decide on something, we will be able to communicate. First of all, we should know what to communicate, what to deliver to others.
I thought you are going to be on mute today.
No. I reached home. I had a very emergency. I didn't want to give back excuses.
No
I
excuses.
was actually hurrying back so that I reach home at least by 5. I came back home.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
No, ma'am. The thing is, you had some question, right? Why is the decision making is very important with the perspective of communication. Right? So when we are not clear on what to give to our people, those who approach us, when we haven't decided what to do in first place, how can we deliver something? Say, for example, if I take my class, if I don't decide what I have to teach to my students today in my class, with whether it is mathematics or computer science, whatever it is, it will be blank. My board is going to be blank. Absolutely. So I need to get myself prepared for taking up today. Only then I can communicate some good information to my children.
Very true. Very good example.
Decision making is to prepare ourselves, ma'am. Mindfully we are setting and what we are going to communicate everything. Decision is ourselves we are making,
Hmm.
preparing ourselves.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, but how it is making your communication more effective?
Because once we prepare ourselves means it will be the communication will be good, and our expression, everything, the goal settings, everything will be.
We will be confident to execute what we have decided.
Hmm.
Right.
If we make a decision making,
If I am debate is going on means I have to prepare myself. If they ask this type of means I have to what I have to communicate, why I have to reply, everything means positive or negative. I should be prepare decision. That decision is we have to prepare.
continuation to Vijay Kumari's this one, yes, we have to gather the points, what we have to talk. So that is decision making. Once we have decided that what we are going to talk, we can deliver what we can deliver confidently.
Hmm. Okay.
And
Good. So,
based on all the inputs, my decision is going to be, and on the basis of the decision, what complete communication process is going to be, because it involves sending and receiving of the message. Once I have decided what is to be communicated, what I have to make receive to the audience, then only I'll be able to properly communicate. And that communication is based on decision making, which is based on inputs I have.
very true. Yeah, very good. All right. So all you're saying is very nice, that communication is very important part of the decision making, or decision making is a very good part. So let me ask you a question, right? So suppose you have to decide about maybe a smaller problem, like what to cook in the dinner tonight. What are the steps that you are going in your decision?
I will see what is available in the fridge, what is available for cooking, ma'am. First, I'll see that.
Okay.
Then I'll see whether I'm able to cook.
So you will
What I
check
have
what is
decided.
available, right?
Yeah.
I'll just
Just
write
I
it
have
down.
to check the timing, ma'am. How much I have time for cooking.
Very
The
important
classes,
timings.
classes. If
Yeah.
based on that, I will just rice and curd is enough. If I have
Yes, Vijay
time,
Kumari,
I
absolutely.
I will prepare cutting vegetables, everything. I will green leaves, everything.
Okay, good.
If I have any health issue, means based on that I will prepare myself. Sometime
Right. So you will check the ingredients also, right? What is there available?
What is available?
And
Jokes
what can be healthy?
daily basis, right? Not just one day.
No,
On
we
a
are talking
daily
about
basis.
tonight. Yeah, let's talk about just tonight today.
Yeah.
Long-term decisions will come later on, right? So it's very short-term decision, easy decisions that we have to take.
And what can be healthy and tasty, that can be accepted by all?
Okay, so we will think about healthy and tasty both. What else?
I will also think about less usage of vessels, so that there isn't too much of burden to clean it after everything is done.
Yeah, very important. Especially in Corona times when hardly any mail is ready to come. Yeah. Right. So now imagine, say there is a process of decision making, right? What these points that you're saying is correct. Now write down these points that I'm saying. So number one thing that we do in decision making is identify the problem. What is the problem you have?
What to cook?
What to cook, right? You have come to this thing, and now you are actually thinking about that what exactly is going to be there. Second step is do some digging. What is do some digging?
Searching for the options.
So you will see all these things, that whether I have time, what are the ingredients which is available, what are the masalas which are available, so all these things. So what your inputs has to go, or the raw material, or the things that you are going to do. Third thing that comes is think creatively. So if you have to make it healthy as well as tasty, what you have to do is then your creative instincts has to start playing a role into the entire process. Right? That's how it is going to happen. Then you will then
No,
do-
ma'am, I'll be back in 1 minute, ma'am. Sorry.
Sure. No problem. So then you will start evaluating your options. Because once you start thinking creatively about something, it's not just one option which will come to your mind, looking into the ingredients, right? So there are different kind of things that you can think of. You can think of creating a very tasty pasta. You can still think of creating pulao from those vegetables and all those things available, or maybe a good sandwiches or anything that can be there. Upma, so many things can be prepared, right? So you will start evaluating your options. After that,
Decision.
then the decision will happen. So now you have created a decision, or you have made a decision. After that, once the decision is done,
Implementing.
correct. So either act or implement or take actions.
Result, ma'am.
Right. So then आता है outcome.
Outcome. Then feedback. Whether it's any mistake we have done, we have to.
Either looking back, if it was your individual decision, or feedback if it was related with somebody else. Right? So that's a very beautiful process of creating any decisions, whether it is about cooking a dish in the kitchen tonight, or it is about creating or solving a large problem. The process remains the same. Right? And that's the beauty about these techniques, is that they have been designed in such a manner that it can help us solve even the smallest problem to the large problems also. Right? So that's how this entire process. And in everything, if you see closely, if you take all the decisions nicely, or you are getting involved into the entire process, a lot of communication is also happening, right? From thinking creatively to evaluating the options, then implementing it. That's how the communication process also happens between two people. Right? On a daily basis, as a coach, or maybe in your sessions, you have to decide that for these diseases, these are the 3 steps that I can teach this person. Right? Amongst these 3 steps, how am I going to design the entire sessions of mine, or for this particular person? And then in that, how am I going to teach these things to this person? So everything that we are designing, from taking a decision, from evaluating, communication is playing a very, very major role into the entire process. Right? That is the reason why, as a coach, decision making will be a very, very important tool for you to decide how things are going to be taken care of for the future. Right? Then आता है इसके बाद आपका problem solving. So how problem solving is different from decision making?
Decision making, problem solving is what is the that is how to solve the problem is different, ma'am. Decision making is solve the problem, what and all we are going to do, that is decision making.
So we'll take a 5 minutes break quickly. Think about it if you get time, and then come back, and then we'll discuss problem solving in detail. Yeah?
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now what is problem solving?
Solving the problem, ma'am.
Solving
The
the problem.
step of the decision making was feedback. Like Vijay Kumari ma'am said, it was a feedback, right?
Hmm.
So could this problem solving be something connected or works with continuation with the feedback? The feedback for the decision that you have made initially. Say I be a newbie, I sat down, drafted ifs and buts, and I made up a the decision, and I communicated with a group of people who came to me. But a few days or few weeks later, based on few feedbacks, if there is some corrections or modifications that is needed, or if there is any problem that has popped in, is that something that we need to work on? It would come under the problem solving.
Absolutely. Both are interconnected, interrelated a lot of times. You know, when we are, see, decision making can be a part of problem solving. Right? Very importantly. So decision is basically deciding about something with an outcome in mind. Right? Problem solving is finding solutions so that it can work for longer term period. In the entire process of problem solving, you might have to take a lot of decisions. So that is how it is being done. Right now, when it comes to having effective communication and problem solving things together, how are we going to work on that? Why do you think it is essential for effective communication to happen along with problem
Whatever
solving?
we, sorry, yeah, yeah, come on.
Go ahead, Jyoti.
Ma'am, whatever we
Yeah.
have just decided, that is, we have that is, we have planned how to go with this, what to say, mentee or somebody. How we are going to solve that, or how we are going to execute that, needs effective communication. Only then we will be able to execute, or we will be able to make him understand that how we are going to solve the problem, ma'am. So both is very essential problem solving skills in effective communication.
Right. Okay. So now, as a
with the help of decision making techniques, we can achieve the problem solving, because we can break our problem into many decisions also to reach a certain outcome. And if we have accomplished our problem solving, we have found a solution, better solution, then only we'll be able to communicate properly the solution what we have got out of the brainstorming exercise, with the help of breaking the problem into many decisions, and then only we'll be able to communicate. It is very important.
Yeah, very true. You can do that as well. And there is a proper process also of doing it. Yeah. So either you can consider your problem into smaller decisions and then resolve it, or you can actually put the entire process, of step by step process of problem solving into the entire picture, where again you have to take a lot of decisions and then you can come to the outcomes or various solutions. So how do we solve the problems? So what are the steps involved? What do you think it should be?
First,
planning, huh? Okay.
Why planning? Before planning, don't you want to understand the problem?
yes,
Recognize it, right? So then
Yes.
it will come to
Analyze.
that. So one is recognition of the problem.
Recognition of the problem.
So that's very important step. And when you have to recognize something, what are the things that you are going to do about it?
So short term or long term?
Anything, yeah. Any problems?
Is there any
Why is that problem occurred, ma'am?
Reason.
So why is that problem occurring? That means you are going to do research about this entire thing. You will going to analyze it. So your analytical skills or your data analysis or research is going to come to a play. And what is data analysis and research is? It's part of the communication process, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to analyze, research. Then suppose somebody has come to you for their problem. So one way of recognizing a problem is you know about the problem and you have recognized it. Second is somebody else has come to you and they have shared the problem with you, right? That's how we will be doing it. So when somebody else has come to you and is sharing your problem, how are you going to do the data analysis part of it?
Two questions.
Right? But before you ask questions, you are going to listen to the entire thing,
Yes, yes.
right?
You have to
So
listen.
then effective listening is going to play a major role into this entire process. Right? What else comes to play? Then there are non-verbal cues. Listening is because they're sharing the problems. Then what are you going to go into the details with the person that you are going to coach is understand the non-verbal communication that is happening. What kind of emotions they are saying. So they are saying something different, but what kind of emotions they are actually showing to you? What are the intentions behind that? What is the in between the lines things that they want to convey to you, right? So those things you have to do. So what do we call it? Non-verbal.
Non-verbal.
Yeah. Non-verbal cues कहते हैं, communication, whatever you want to say. Yeah? And then one more important thing in recognition of problem is ensuring or looking into the historical data about the time. Right? Whether it is our subconscious mind which has stored a lot of things in our mind, or in the person who has come to you with the problem, or in general. What is the history behind this entire thing? Right? Like a doctor does. What do they do in the diagnosis? The diagnosis is basically a problem solving. Right? What do? They ask you different questions. So from different questions, what do they want to know about your symptoms? What are the things that you're feeling? What is the look and feel of the entire thing? Right? So from this entire thing, what they are planning to do is they are just identifying the problem that you have. Right? So that's how the diagnosis is being done. So it's very important. And then they ask you questions like, what is your historical history about the entire thing? What is your history in this? Anybody else in your family has this problem or whatever. Right? So this is very important that you do a complete historical analysis of the problem that is being shared with you, or the problem that you have. Right? That's the first step. Now, what is the next step after you have recognized the problem?
Testing
Solution. Okay.
how much they are.
Then,
Do we
digging
need to
on the
find an
solution.
association of do we need to find if there is any association? Say, for example, if there is a problem, we need to find out if it is a standalone thing or is there anything associated, with it.
Correct. Which you have done through historical analysis, right?
Okay.
Anything else? History is not really that anybody else has that. It
Ma'am,
is
again,
basically dealing with all
digging
your
on the
diseases.
options.
Sorry?
Digging on the options.
Correct. So now you will find out or create or possibly think of various solutions which can be available to this problem.
Analyzing the solutions.
Yeah. So all possible solutions, either you create or analyze. See, that is the beauty of this entire thing, is that one problem can be resolved by various people in a different manner altogether. They should not be. And that is the reason why problem solving skill is still a soft skill, because as per your emotions, as per your needs and requirements, as per your own historical data fed in your subconscious mind, you can actually take right kind of solutions to the table. Right? Brainstorming works really best as one of the solutions when you are doing or creating possible analysis of what are the various solutions available. So like Divya said that, brainstorming is directly related to problem solving in many ways. For decision making also it really helps, but more than decision making, it really helps in. Because decision making में क्या होता है, हम सुनते सबकी हैं, करते अपनी हैं. Right? So we think of various solutions, we think of various ways, but then we decide on our own. In brainstorming, in problem solving, what happens is people have this idea, people have this liberty to bring about their own way of how the problem has to be solved. This is what we did in the past. And from all those solutions, because you will see and you will study and research about probability, that this is the probability with which this problem has been solved in the history. So some people may have achieved the result of 90%, some have reached the result of 60%, 30%. So on that data, on that things that is available to you, now you can actually decide which solution has more chances of becoming a good solution in the future. Right? So that's how brainstorming works. What else can work for creating solution? एक तो brainstorming हो गया. How else are you going to work on? Brainstorming is when you have people available, right? You cannot do brainstorming with your own self, right? Now suppose if you have to find a solution yourself, what are you going to do?
Think on the options, historical solutions of that problem, if available.
Okay. So you are going to do data mining. In management, we call it data mining. Data mining of historical solution.
Case studies, ma.
Yeah. Historical solutions or case studies or problem solving, whatever you want to call it. Various names. Then what other skills you are going to put into it, like brainstorming, data mining, and will decision making be a part of this process?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So then decision making becomes a very important tool here. It helps you find out the best solution or various kind of solutions. Then will your creativity be a part of the entire process?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So in decision making, a lot of time our intuition comes to play. While in problem solving, creativity takes the stage. Right. What else? What is important for this topic? Process.
Wow.
Would you need some content about it or knowledge or information about the problem or various solutions which are available?
Yeah, definitely. We need a knowledge about both the problem and various solutions.
Correct. So what do you need here? Like you've done research in the initial part of it, recognizing the problem. Can we put research into this?
Collection of data.
Yeah.
Right. So research is very important, as well as understanding and knowledge about various topics, various solutions that is coming. So I'll just write understanding the content. Right? Then what should be the third step now?
Decision making, ma'am.
Action.
Action, ma'am. Practical.
Implementation.
Implementation से पहले हम और कुछ नहीं करेंगे. You have so many solutions. How do you find out
Finding
which
one best solution, best fitted solution.
Correct. So now you will evaluate all these possible solutions that you have. Best solution, yeah, best option, whatever you want. Best solution option. Okay. So what are you going to do in this? How are you going to evaluate?
There could be various aspects which we have to consider when it comes to evaluation. Few solutions will be good for the person who needs it. Few solutions may be good for us with respect to time, tide, and all that. So we have to keep everything in mind. so that it suits better for them also, and it is good for us also in all other aspects, in every aspect.
Correct. So what is this process called?
Depending upon the various
Execution, ma'am. Execution.
Execution last में आएगा, इसके बाद वाले में. Within evaluation, what Ranjini is saying, what is this entire thing called? You have different solutions available and you have to find out one. How do you do that?
Brainstorming, can we say?
Random.
No, that is done.
Brainstorming can also happen here. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But what if for brainstorming you need people? If people are not available, then what?
Records, proof.
Yeah, very good. So your records and proofs and historical things, what does it called? Data analysis or
Data-
analysis
Data
of
collection.
information? Yeah, so you need to analyze the information or data which is available to you. Correct? What else will you do? Now somebody said planning in the earlier stage. Can we do planning here now?
Yeah, we definitely,
Yes.
whatever I said was actually planning.
Correct.
Plan based on
prior-
others.
Planning is other important. I feel here would be prioritizing.
Prioritize.
Right. So prioritizing is very important in terms of that whether it is really suitable in these situations that we have for the people that we have with the mindset that they have. So various things. Right. So prioritizing and planning both can really work. Yeah. What else? Again, decision making, because you have to now see which decision works best. That also becomes a part here. And then last is measurements, yeah, evaluating or finding out which one has the maximum capacity or maximum result oriented ability to come out of it. Right? So out of all these things that you're going to do, prioritizing, planning, decision making, brainstorming, analyzing the data, research, all these things going to happen purely for the reason that you want to see which option weighs the best. Right? That's how you're going to do. Now we will do the weighing.
Weighing the options.
ठीक है? अब आगे आपका जो आप बोल रहे थे important point which is implementation. कैसे करेंगे अब implementation?
Planning first.
Implementation में क्या चाहिए आपको? Planning चाहिए, correct? और क्या चाहिए?
Even here, do you think, evaluation, not evaluation, analysis or something, like we should also continuously monitor if we are implementing things properly based upon the recently made decision, the best made decision that we had come up with? Are we really going according to it, or are we going back to the same old path? Some sort of an analysis also is
Continuous evaluation.
continuous evaluation.
So that is actually the next step after implementation. right? After implementation, we will always go back or look into the feedbacks, or we will review the entire scenario, how it is working. That's how we are going to do. Or if it is really working, the solution that we have found out, it's really working or not, then we change if it is not working. So that is called evaluation of the best solution. But right now we are working on implementation of the solution because you've already solved the problem, right? You have the solution with you. Now you just have to implement. So what are the steps that will help you in implementing the solution now?
And here can we do
Execution, ma'am.
creativity also? Creativity.
Yeah, creativity, why not? Creativity तो हर जगह से चाहिए होती है हमें. तो planning हो गया, creativity हो गई. What else? Can your communication play a major role here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right? So effective communication.
Effective communication.
And when we say effective communication, that means the entire cycle of communication is
Listening,
involved.
everything will come.
Then implementation हम कोई idea का करते हैं, whatever things we do, whether in school, college, office, how do we do that? Can we do it alone? What do we need for that?
Team.
Yeah,
Team.
so we need team building for this entire implementation or the action of these things. It's a very important tool. It's a very essential part of it. What else? Now, if you have a team,
Breaking the task into,
Assigning a task to the
assigning
team.
tasks to the team members.
so who will assign the task to the team members?
First,
Lead.
we make a team leader.
Correct. So you need a leadership
Leadership.
or leader here, right? So that's how. So first, आगे आपका leader who will do the assigning of task. Correct. Then last, which you were saying everything that उसका evaluation हम कैसे करेंगे? How are we going to
Evaluation.
do?
Sorry.
जैसे IT में करते हैं, suppose IT में you have created an app or you have created a programming tool. What do you do then?
Monitoring.
Processes.
Who does the monitoring? So we call it project management. So every problem solution, every solution that you actually find out basically becomes the entire project that you now have to implement. So what we have to do is now do the project management of the entire thing. When you start analyzing or when you start taking each case which comes to you, I say case because coach case में generally cases ही कहते हैं उनको. So every story, every case that comes to you becomes a project. When you have to resolve it, you actually have to put across your time, your energy, your communication, all your senses into solving the problems. When you start getting into that kind of a result, if you do it properly in a very mathematical way, or we call it operational management way, then we put project management tools into place. Right? So project management is not something which can only work for IT. For real estate also it works. People actually use in coaching also different tools like Scrum or different kind of tools which are available. You can start using these tools into this entire scene, which will help you in finding out things or resolving the things step by step. इस डेट को ये स्टेप होना था, हुआ है या नहीं है, that checklist kind of a thing. So project management really helps you in managing the entire project in a very, very structured manner. That is the reason why in implementation it is used worldwide. Right? And more technology, if you can use in your entire scenario of coaching or mentoring, it can actually bring out the results much better. Right? You don't have to share it with the other person that you are doing it as a project management tool or with the help of that, but for your own self, it can actually bring all that planning, organizing, structuring things in a very, very better way. Right? So that's how your implementation is done. Now coming to the point which we were talking about, evaluation of the solution or feedback review, whatever you want to call it. अब इसमें क्या करने वाले हम? How are you going to do that? How do you see whether
on feedback, getting a feedback?
Correct. So one is feedback or review. whether from the team or for the person that you have solved, right?
Success stories.
Feedback review में आ गया. Whether it is a success or a failure, you will get to know by your feedback and review. Okay. But in order to get feedback, what is important?
Communication. Na?
Yeah, communication, maybe listening is very important. So effective listening has to play a major role here. Right? We are not talking about the management problem solutions. As a coach, just think from this point of view that somebody has come to you. So how are you going to give them this solution? And how will you go back and see whether the solution has worked for this person or not? Right? So for example, in last class, what we did was a meditation technique thing. Right? So 3 techniques we talked about. So today, what did you do? You did this evaluation of the solution. That was one of the solution I gave you, that these are the 3 techniques that I'm going to give. Right? Out of 108 techniques. Right? So what was the feedback and review that you shared with me will help me find out whether the solution that I selected has really worked for everybody or not. Right? So in 90% cases, because some people did not still share the review and feedback, so in 70-80% of the cases, things have really worked positively. That means the solution is really working effectively. Right? So this is how you're going to analyze the entire situation in a manner that whatever things you are doing, see, management tools or this life coaching skills tools is basically very, very important in terms of giving coaching a very structured form. That's all, nothing else. Right? Most of the time you have to put to use is basically your soft skills, which is creativity, intuition. Right? Intuition has become a very, very important. Basically, it has been taught in Harvard Institute also in US. They actually teach it as a subject. Right? Because intuitions, if people say that I'm not really very intuitive or I'm not really able to take good decisions because my intuition doesn't work, or what we call as gut feeling, it doesn't work, it can actually be taught to a person. So you can actually convert your soft skills into a hard skill by learning it and by getting into practice of it. Right? So intuition plays major role in problem solving and decision making. It sometimes sometimes you get this nerve. Generally, हम इसे gut feeling कहते हैं in normal language, but you get that feeling that what I'm going to do is actually really, really important. And why do we get this feeling is because in our mind, our subconscious mind has done a lot of research basis the historical data that we have fed. Right? That's why you get intuition about that this person is not really very good for me or this person is really good for me. Right? Sometimes you get that kind of intuition after you talk to somebody, or whether you have given an interview, you get to know about the results in advance कि मेरा हो जाएगा या मेरा नहीं होगा. Right? So all these things plays a major role. So whatever you're feeding to your mind is going to help you solve the problems with the help of intuitions and decision making. Correct? So effective listening is very important, not just about the problem that you're facing, but in other ways also. When you're doing a lot of research and when you're actually dealing into different kind of problems, otherwise also, then effective listening actually plays major role. Suppose you're listening to some video, you're listening to some new movie. Like I give you a lot of examples from movies. So I don't really enjoy the entire process of sitting at one place and enjoying 3 hours of movies. Itna time patience nahi rehta hai. But then there are few things that you pick up, and I generally try and use those things in my coaching classes, because people in India, even abroad also, people in India are really, really very emotional about the entire process of watching movies or TV serials and all that, right? So they relate to these things really well. That's why. There's a beautiful movie called The Gift. Watch that movie if you get time. Gift. Yeah. It's an English movie of a child and father's relationship. Very wonderful movie. A lot of ways, you can actually learn about different ways of handling a problem. So for a coach, it's very, very good movie. You think it from the perspective of that you're solving a problem and how these people actually get into this entire thing. It's a wonderful movie. Take it as an assignment. And share your things. Yeah. So, okay, coming back to this evaluation of solutions, what are the next things that you're going to do? So, whatever the feedbacks and reviews that you have received, you're going to do another data analysis or research about it.
Analysis.
Right? Correct. So, that analysis part again has come back. Yeah. And like we call it in computers language, troubleshooting. Troubleshooting kar sakte in case something is not really working, so we can find out quick solutions to do troubleshooting for that. Yeah. And what is the last point? Evaluation of solution ke andar kya aa sakta hai? Not last, there can be many more.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction भी आ सकता है. Contentment होना बहुत जरूरी है. Yeah. What I have in my mind is flexibility. Right? So any other thing that you are going to now evaluate or think about now needs a lot of flexibility so that you don't get rigid or too stubborn about कि मुझे यही करना है. Right? Because I have seen many coaches fail purely because they get very rigid कि नहीं ये solution पहले भी काम आ चुका है तो ये अभी भी काम करेगा. Right? So you don't have to be really, basically it has to come to all 3 points जहाँ हम creation से कर लेकर last तक. Flexibility has to be there in this entire process of problem solving. Right? You need to leave some options about what can change, whether you can change the team, whether you can change the people, whether you can change some ingredient, some things, you know, like cooking. Now, अगर आप cooking को problem solving की तरह देखो, so what are you going to do? Right? You will have some flexibility. Suppose you don't find the right kind of masala or ingredient that you want to cook, you will obviously change something, right? That's the beauty of cooking good food. People who know this art, they can actually turn it into an art and science combination and then make things, right? So that's flexibility is very important. And like Vijaya said, that contentment and satisfaction. Because ultimately, the goal is to bring the satisfaction to the person who has come to you with a problem. Right? But again, these steps are just to give you an idea about the entire thing. So and the steps can work really beautifully. Recognition, creation, problem, evaluation, planning, implementation and evaluation of solution, right? 5 steps. इनके अंदर जो सब चीजें we were discussing and we are discussing, it can go in a different manner altogether. It's not necessarily this is how or these are the only things that can work. Right? There can be plenty of different ideas you can put across into finding the solution to various problems. Right? As much as creative you want to go, as much as research you will do, you will be able to get different kind of ideas to put across to a problem. Right? So after problem solving, now comes to the point which we call as non-verbal communication. Verbal to pata hi hame kya hota hai, right? So verbal communication we will do in the next class, right? With what kind of tone we generally use, with what kind of pitch that we generally use, what kind of, so complete kinetics of verbal communication. Today we are going to talk about non-verbal communication, right? Because in coaching business or in as a coach, it's really very important to understand, like, we started this class with that people will come to you with various problems, but not every time the problem that they are saying is the problem. Majority of the time, the problem has to be found out by the coach, right? So how are you going to do is you have to put across all your non-verbal communication into the entire process for the understanding to happen. How this understanding is going to happen is with personal appearances, vocalics, which is tone volume, kinesics, which is body gestures and eye contact, proxemics, which is space that they take between each word, personal, social, public. Haptics, just touch, holding hands, hugging, kissing, yeah, whatever. Then chronamics. Chronamics can be monochromic or polychromic people. Right? Or artifacts. Artifacts is what kind of jewelry are they wearing? What is the kind of clothes? What are the brands that they are wearing? All these things. So personal appearance is कैसे लग रहे हैं? Artifacts is what are they wearing actually? So how do you think it is going to solve the problem? Why it is needed for effective communication? Let's do one by one. So number one is personal appearances. Do you think personal appearance can help you find out about the person more in detail?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes personal appearance, I mean, it shows what kind of person can be like. If somebody is coming for coaching, like coming in a जल्दी में एकदम से आ गए कि we have to go, or they have taken it very lightly कि चलो ठीक है coaching के लिए जा रहे हैं, like something like that कि they are not paying they are paying some attention or not, giving importance to it or not. That can be analyzed by seeing a person also कि properly dressed up है or not, कि don't know anything about it or not, like
Correct.
that we can analyze.
Very true. Or you can, it can help you analyze that maybe the person is really stressed out,
Yes.
is depressed, has anxiety issues, So the more we practice it in understanding the personal appearances of the people, the more in detail we can get to know about. So in management, we can use personal appearance in something different. How we use it in management, if somebody has come for the interview, you will see whether the person is properly dressed or not, their shoe is polished, socks matching the shoes, all those things. But for a coach, there is a totally different meaning altogether. Right? So for a coach, you have to understand that the person has come to you. Maybe the person has come to you really beautifully dressed, wonderfully with maximum brands, beautiful brands, the highest cost brands that they can wear because they have money. But will that give an impression that the person is content, satisfied, has no anxiety issues, has stress issues? So you'll have to go into the deeper details about this entire thing. Right? So personal appearances can create a lot of non-verbal communication between two people. Right? It can let you know about the first impressions, but those first impressions can never be the last impressions in this coaching thing. सेकेंड आता है आपका वोकलिक्स. वोकलिक्स में क्या आ जाता है? Other than the verbal that we do, we generally use a different kind of tone. Sometimes the volume is really low. Some people whisper and talk. Some people really talk on high pitch.
Talking fast.
Yeah. Right. So all these things are really, and it gives you a reflection about what is going on in the person's mind. Okay, that's how you'll have to analyze and think about it. Any example that comes to you in your mind where vocalic have taken place? Yeah.
There are in India particularly, there are many states where type of language, type of vocalics they use, it depends upon state to state. Like many times we say like person in Haryana, they use high pitch to talk. So we use, that is different kind of talk. Like if we go in some other state, they are very soft spoken. So
Correct.
That is different kind of pitch they are holding. And with the help of pitch, sometimes their mindset also like this, some persons who are talking in high pitch, they used to talk quite negative also. They
Correct.
used to express negative. So that that is there ki vocalics depends from person to person.
Right.
Even mother,
yeah.
even mother tongue influence is also part of it, ma'am.
Anything for that matter. See, like it's a very good example. India is very, very diverse country. We come from various part of culture, religiously, and region wise also, right? The demographic can also be changed, and religion obviously change, and the cultural way, the way we are being brought up, totally different. Some people, like, it's a very good example of being in Haryana, right? So Haryana mein people generally have this tone of talking, and that's not really the way they want to look like a rude person, or they are conveying it in that manner. It's just that their dialect have become that they are actually conveying their things, right? So as a coach, it's very important to understand that what tone, what volume, what rate pitch people are using, and what you have to use, right? I have seen many coaches go down to a level where they become like the other person, right? Which means if somebody is talking to them in a high pitch, they are really angry, they also become angry, right? So there is an art of communication, is that if people are getting more rigid, more stubborn, more impolite, rude, you don't have to get into that mood. So as a coach, it has to be very neutral, it has to be very beautiful. It's not necessary that you're taking the bad things that they are saying. It's just that you have practiced it so beautifully, you have practiced it so well that you are able to maintain the same form of yours, right? And that is the way, that is the reason why they have come to you, because you have done the mastery into communication, and they have not done that, right? So you're going to teach them do these things. It's very important that you understand the meaning, how you're going to use it for the people who come to you, and how you're going to use it for you, right? How our vocalics helps as a coach when we are trying and doing effective communication? How can it be used?
We can maintain not low or high, but what to say, soft voice, like that. Soft voice, which is comfortable for you and also the mentee.
Correct.
Can help us understanding the mindset of this person. What's going on in the mind, like
about you. Let's talk about you as a coach right now. So how are you going to use tone? What kind of tone you are going to use in your conversations?
A soft and clear tone now.
Right. So it has to be polite. Right. It has to be firm. Right? So polite does not mean that you're sounding very, very soft. You're not coming across as firm. So polite and firm can also go together. Third is it can show little emotions, but not really that deep emotions that you get too much involved into the entire process of understanding things. Right? So that is very important. Then the volume that you use as a coach is very important. Because generally there is a conversation which is happening between one to one. Right? Most of the time it would be in the cabin, door shut kind of a situation, because people are really, really scared of sharing their problems with people. Right? They are really, really judgmental, because people have this phobia, this fear. Everybody has this phobia and fear in the initial days when they have not been trained or coached in that manner. Where log kya kahenge? What people think about me? What the society is going to talk about me? So different kind of people will come to you with, even with this disease problem. किसी को chronic disease है कोई, right? For example, piles का ही ले लेते हैं, right? So there was a patient who came to us for the treatment of pile, or for getting the cure of the piles. So now piles के बारे में बात करने में, she said, I don't want to talk in front of the group. I want to go inside, talk in the cabin. I don't want to share the details in that manner. So smaller things like that can also become a problem for people to talk about. So you have to initiate the discussion in a manner that your volume and everything should be very controlled, right? So volume का एक meaning ये है, दूसरा meaning है, it should not look very threatening to somebody. Whatever conversation, even if you have to use high pitch, but high pitch does not mean that you are actually increasing the volume to that level in your voice that it sounds threatening, or you are sounding angry, or you are actually sounding demeaning to somebody. So that is very, very important. That is the reason why people say that communication is not just an art, it is also a science. but more of an art because you have to practice it a lot of time. So anything that we practice becomes an art. Okay? So you know about the science now, which is these vocalics, kinesics, proxemics, haptics. Now you have to practice it so that you can learn the understanding, have the understanding of how you can actually effectively use in the entire process. Then other kinesics, kinesics हमने बचपन से पढ़े हुए, body language, gestures, eye contact, right? So very, very important. So there are various kinds of body language. You know, we take 1 day full training for body language for management people, so that to make them understand what kind of body language they can actually show when they are outside their home and when they are inside their home, right? So it's very, very different kind of things. So Indian males have a major problem of, you know, scratching their various body parts, which goes really, really bad. You know, there is that's a very major example of body language we generally give, and some people can actually accuse them of sexual harassment purely on that basis. Right? Imagine you are standing in front of girls or your colleagues, female colleagues, and you're scratching your body parts, private body parts. So what kind of impression it is going to create, right? So people have to understand the meaning of what and what kind of body language they can show inside the house and outside. So professionally, things change. The same thing happens for a coach, right? So your emotions has to be so controlled that your body gestures, your eye contact, your emotions that you're showing, all those things are very, very balanced. Right? It should not come across to the other person in a very transparent manner, right? So that's very important. Slouchy body hona, like we're just talking about stomach bahar nikal ke baat karna, alag se body postures bana ke baithna, smaller things, but it really creates nervousness ka sign hota hai. People keep looking at their nails, they keep touching their nails or biting their nails, touching their hair, choti si cheezein, but it is clear sign of nervousness, right? So these are few examples I'm just giving you. So you have to practice it to see whether it is there in your body when you talk to the people or not. That is the reason why I wanted to do this presentation that I gave you as an assignment. But unfortunately, we could not do it because of the non-availability of people. Right? So try and create a good presentation and present it. See, presentations helps you find out how are you looking in front of the camera or in front of the audience. Because जब हम अपने आप अकेले में practice करते हैं, so we get a little conscious, so we don't come across as natural. But when we are presenting in front of people, no matter how much we have practiced, sometimes we become natural. कुछ चीजें automatically आ जाती हैं. So just to correct all those things, it's very important that you work on your communication and presentation together. That is the reason why majority of the people talk about both the things in the same context. That presentation is really, really important part of communication, or communication is very important part of presentation. Right? So that's really important because presentation shows this entire thing, kinesics, body gestures, eye contact you're making with people, right? How comfortable you are making eye contact, because some people are really scared. Online, so it's really easy, but offline, people get really scared of holding the eye contact for longer time period. But as a coach, it goes on for an hour with the person, because if you won't look into their eyes, that means you're not showing enough confidence in that person. Right? That means you're not really effectively listening. So a lot of signs it passes from your side to the other person. So that has to come. Then आता है आपका proxemics. So proxemic is the space in which you are. That means whether you are getting too intimate, a lot of personal things, how you actually behave in personal atmosphere, social may, public may. So what kind of space you're in and what kind of gestures and what kind of body movements and other things that you are showing. Right? फिर आता है आपका haptics. Haptics is the way we touch people. कई लोगों के बहुत soft shake hands होते हैं. Handshake, if they are coming to you and doing the handshake, they do very polite, very nice, little touchy wala. Some people are very firm. So when they do the firm handshake, that shows that they are very confident. When they do that light, touchy-feely wala things, that means they're not really confident. They have some inhibitions about their body or their mind. So all these things actually conveys the non-verbal communication that we are conveying. That is the reason it is being taught in the classrooms, that communication skills can be improved by the way you are talking as well as your passing on to the gestures through non-verbal communication, right? So too much hugging, too much kissing is obviously for a coach, it is a no-no. Absolutely. I, as a coach, have learned this lesson that there should not be any touching which is happening between the coach, except a handshake. That's all. Nothing more than that. Right? So the more away you can be, but sometimes people will come to you, they will cry, they will need your shoulder. So you'll have to see situation to situation. Analysis has to be done on the basis of what the circumstances are. Really, there is no way out of it. Then you have to do that. But then in that case, balancing of emotions has to come in play. Right? फिर आ जाता है आपका chronomics. So what is chronomics? Any idea? Have you ever read about this word? Some people are monochromic, some people are polychromic.
Is that something related to the the personal space? Few people might not be okay to be in a group. Is that something related to that?
That is monochromatic.
Okay.
This is monochromic. So monochromic means, or chronomics means the colors that we use. So our personality showcases different kind of colors, or we generally wear different kind of colors when it comes to dressing or choosing various accessories for us. So some people are monochromic. That means they really love different kind of colors and hues. Some people are polychromic. That means they just use, a shade of same color. Right? So that's how. So nonverbal communication plays a lot of roles. For example, all these business people, very rich people, have this habit of wearing the same kind of clothes, one after the other. Mark Zuckerberg has that. He wears his gray t-shirt in the major of his conferences, meetings, right? Bill Gates have this particular habit of wearing similar shade of shirt or t-shirts, right? In majority of the meetings. I don't know whether it has a superstitious about it or they are really monochromic kind of people, right? So this is how you can actually tell about the personality. Imagine a person who is the richest man in the world still wears that plain gray shirt most of the time. That was Bill Gates. So this is how their personality has been. Steve Jobs was also like that. He used to wear those white t-shirts. Most of the verbal videos that you will see and watch him talking, he used to wear that t-shirt. The material may be expensive, but this is how it looks. It not really looks very expensive. It looks very cheap. It's a normal t-shirt. So maybe there must be a superstition attached to it कि मुझे यही करना है. So this is very lucky for me. Or maybe he wanted to showcase himself as a monochromic person so that you cannot really. Why people generally wear one kind of clothes is so that you don't see the different shades of their personality. They don't want to show it. They don't want to disclose the other part of their personality to the people. When you become polychromic, that means you love various kind of colors. You showcase your personality openly. You actually display that I love loud colors. So people have that kind of personality. People wear soft tones, so they have different kind of personality. So colors can actually talk, describe so much about the personality of the person. Right? So we don't have to go into the details about it, but you can get to know about the personality which is directly related to some colors that people wear often. Right? It is being said that people who are depressed or stressed out too much, not stressed out, but people with depression or some mental disorders love to wear dark gray, black shades more often. It's not really the case. I love black, wearing black, but it's just that I can't wear black all the time. So these people who are depressed and stressed, they love wearing black. Not love, they don't actually that intention of or that finding about new clothes, that basically ends in their mind, in their brain. Right? So that is the reason why monochromic understanding of monochromic and polychromic is very important as a part of the personality it displays. Right? I'll try to bring in more information about it when I'll share this PPT with you so that it can be an additional information about it. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Ranjani?
No. I was thinking. I love black, but
Even I love. So I have no sign of depression. I know that.
But as you said, the next point, even though we have time, we don't stick on to black, right? But
Yeah.
that's not the case with that category of people.
I love showcasing colors. I don't know. I can't be on one color all the time. It's really, really difficult for me. Even in a day also, I try and change into different colors. So that may be the personality that I am. But that's how, you actually love, if you love colors, all kind of colors, that means you're a nature lover also. So some part of it, that's why I'm saying, I'll show you that there was in our management also, it was taught to us that every color shows a personality trait. So I'll try and find out that on internet and I'll share that link. It's a good study.
I have met certain people who wear clothes as per day, like Monday, they wear certain
Yeah,
white.
they do. So that's a superstition or maybe religious things
Yes,
attached
yes.
to it. Yeah, Monday is white,
Like that.
Tuesday is
Like
orange. Yeah, many people do
Saturdays,
that.
they used to wear black
Black.
for
Shani Day,
Shani Dev, and
Blue
Thursdays
color.
people used to wear
yellow for Sai
yellow
Baba.
or
Right.
Yes, yes.
true.
Yeah. Lakshmi ji ke liye Friday is pink, light
Pink
pink.
color they
Yeah,
used to wear.
light purple or pink.
Like one of my officer, he's an IS officer, principal, additional chief secretary. He used to follow this trend. And
Many people follow.
particular,
Yeah.
yes.
Some days even I follow. Tuesdays, I don't know. Somehow it comes to me that let's wear orange. So
Okay.
I'm in love with Hanumanji. So that's how.
Oh,
Not religiously, but just like spiritually, I think I'm very connected to him. So that's how. So sometimes you just want to. If you pay attention to it, you want to do it. So that's all. Nothing really religious about it. Then other tab last ka artifacts. So artifacts is basically the kind of dresses you wear, which is brands largely, or the choice of dress, whether it is skirt, jeans, various kind of clothes that you wear. Clothes, jewelry, so different kind of things attached to it. कहीं लोग बहुत blingy jewelry पहनना पसंद करते हैं. Some people are really sober in nature. They don't really want to wear that kind of thing. So you can actually know about the personality of the person with the way they use artifacts around them. Right? As a coach, it's always mandate, even in any leadership position, in any managerial position also, it's really important that we ensure that what kind of dressing up we are doing. Right? So the artifacts has to be very minimal jewelry, minimal blingy things, things that really create sounds or बहुत ज़्यादा dangling होते हैं. So don't try and wear those things when you are in the session. Right? So these are some things that we have to ensure. The clothes should not be, very showing cleavage or short. So that, what happens generally during this conversation is not really that we are not that open, but when people talk to you, they tend to look into various parts of your body, or they get involved into that process more
Be a
other than
distraction.
the
Actually.
communication. Yeah, so it can create barriers of communication also, they call it, and distraction also is being called, right? So when we talk about barriers in effective communication, we will be talking about it in the coming class. Then we'll talk about these things and how these things can actually create disturbance in the way communication has to happen. Right, so that's all about it today. Now let's come to the point. If Saturday classes at 3:30 is becoming a problem, let's change the time. So I had
more
spoken
than
to needed, sir.
only on Sunday, ma'am. Saturday is also like hook or crook. I say, guys, wait to everybody at home. But Sunday, it is becoming very tough to tell them that please wait.
No, it's for everybody. Saturday, I think 2 or 3 people also have problem. Vijaya has her school, college. She gets late.
Me too,
Jyoti,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yeah. So let's decide a timing which is comfortable to all. Tell me quickly what works best. Mornings I can be available. Sundays ko.
Sunday
Saturdays
anytime
ko?
available, ma'am.
Ma'am, I don't have any problem. Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I'm
So
available on
Saturday
Sunday.
ka, we can do later at night. I
Ma'am,
mean after 7 types if you want.
Yeah, Saturday 7 p.m. holds good.
no,
Sunday
ma'am. Me and Vijaya are having classes, ma'am. Saturday,
Saturday 7.
6 to 8.
Okay, 6 to 8. Saturday को कौन सी classes कर रहे? YSI वाली?
No, ma'am, it's Krishnamacharya
Acha.
Yoga Kendra. It's
Acha.
yeah,
Yoga Kendra.
diploma course. Yes.
So then,
Saturday morning is not possible, Jyoti ma'am.
For me, it's not possible. Saturday
For me
morning, I
also,
need
it's
to
not
start by 8 o'clock, and before that, I have 1 hour class session, 6 to 7.
so Saturday timings are a problem.
Saturday is a problem. Sunday, anytime is okay for me. Saturday will be a problem.
So can we do one thing, that Saturday we connect for an hour, and then rest of the week, someday we can connect for another hour. So that 2 hours classes we can segregate into 1 hour each.
Even if it is on weekday, it will be after 8 p.m., right, ma'am? Or 7:30-ish at least.
Yeah, 7:30 I can do.
Yeah, 7:30.
So 7:30 to 8:30 can be done.
Ma'am, that's okay. But Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, we have these classes. Our classes 6 to 8. Tuesday,
So
Friday, and
Wednesday
Saturday.
कर लेते. So Wednesday कर लो.
Thursday, yes.
So Saturday को close ही कर देते. Wednesday, Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 is good for everyone.
Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 is fine.
Ranjani is fine. Divya? Difficult?
Not at all the time. It may happen sometimes I get late coming from office. So it is sometime. Mostly I come by.
How many sessions are left? I don't think we have just 6 sessions left.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
6 section means 6 hours, ma'am, or 12 hours?
12 hours.
Oh.
6 session means 3 weekends.
yes.
3 weekends. Okay, okay.
So Sunday classes, if we leave 2 hours each, so that means 6 hours we have to
6 hours.
adjust. 6 or plus these 2. जो कल का miss हुआ है, so 8 hours we have to adjust. So you tell me, how do you want to adjust?
Voice is breaking, Vijay.
Your voice is not coming, Vijay. You can write down in a chat. We will read it.
I think she's traveling somewhere.
Ah, she's traveling. Writing is much better. So tell me quickly.
Sunday.
Or Saturday 5:30 also doesn't work? 5 onwards?
6 o'clock is the class, ma'am. The next 6 o'clock.
5 to 6 we do it. 1 hour on Saturday and then 1 hour on Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am, we can do.
Okay, ma'am.
That's okay.
Okay, so 3 votes we have. So find out from Rakhi and Muskan who will do that.
I'll do that, ma'am.
Okay, so find out from them if this arrangement works. I will talk to Neeraj sir then.
Sunday, what is the timing?
Sunday is same thing. Sunday it's same.
No,
Sunday also you want to change?
Yeah, I was
Morning
asking
work.
only for Sunday. I don't have any issues with Saturday. I was
Okay. No, most of the people said about Saturday. So Saturday discussion was pending from my side. We couldn't do it because people were not available. Sunday you can do to morning. I have no problems.
Yeah, Sunday morning
Sunday
will be
mornings works much better for me, in fact.
Yeah, Sunday morning.
10:30 कर ले, 11 कर ले, 11 to 1.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Lunch
Perfect.
timing भी नहीं है, breakfast timing भी नहीं है for most of the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. 11 to 1 is better.
No, ma'am, I'm sorry. I can either do, 7 to 9, sometime like that, or even, after that, my Sunday is like unimaginable. It goes bad.
7 to 9 is not possible in morning because I take other sessions, yoga.
What about 9 to 12, Ranjani? 9 to 10, 10 to 11. Sorry, 9 to 11? Or
Yeah,
evening 7 to, sorry.
So
6 to
Vijay
8
is writing 7 to 9 in the evening.
7 to 9 also okay? 6 to 8, whatever.
Yeah, ma'am, 7 to 9 in the evening is okay, ma'am. Sunday 7 to 9 is also okay.
Evening. Okay.
You have any class, ma'am?
No, I don't have any class in Monson.
But we have to check with Muskan and
Yeah, check with Muskan. So Divya, it's your responsibility.
or
Sunday
else we put
7
it
to
in
9
the.
Okay. Saturday.
and Saturday 1 hour 5 to 6 and Wednesday 1 hour 7:30 to 8:30. So these are the options.
Okay.
Right?
But
Not
Saturday, the
really.
thing is 5 to 6, 6 o'clock immediately we have to leave, ma'am, because we have to join that.
6
That's the
o'clock even
problem.
I have my class. So I
Okay.
cannot go beyond that. 6 to 5, 6:10. Yeah. So done. Right. So let me know about whatever they say, then only I'll propose. I will not write it down in the group right now.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'll
So
check.
Vijay is okay, Jyoti is okay for this, Divya is okay, and Ranjani is okay for this, right? So all 4 of you are okay. 2 are left. Ask them,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Then we'll have a decision. All right. So see you. So then we will have this class on Wednesday for 1 hour.
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday ka jo humne miss kiya, at least that we will try and do. So Wednesday,
ma'am.
Thursday can we do for this week?
Yes, ma'am. You can.
So that
Yes,
this
ma'am.
Saturday class can be adjusted there.
Okay.
Yeah. So Wednesday, Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30, 1 hour each.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so see you there. See, because these all these sessions are really very interactive. I don't want to put in, because I was actually talking to sir and sir said, "Ki koi baat nahi, if they are not attending, just YouTube is there." But YouTube may, it's just that me who is talking. I
Yes,
cannot
exactly,
listen
ma'am.
to your things, So I
The
want to
last
make
week
it.
class I missed, I was just what to say. If it had been the interactive class, it would be better for me actually. Last
Yeah.
class, no, which I missed.
So because especially these meditation techniques, things that we teach, or relaxation techniques, it has to be 2 ways. Otherwise, it loses its entire touch of how we do it. Right? So we can do that.
Your last week YouTube session was like, it brought tears into my eyes too. That was so
So
close.
please like it and showcase it to people so that people are aware
However
about
possible,
this.
we will join the class, ma'am. How much ever possible, we will join definitely, ma'am.
Sure. So Saturdays, so Wednesday and Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 this
8:30.
week. Rest we will decide.
Even if we are coming from the office or something, we will just have it at least voice at least. If we cannot operate the video, at least voice call we will.
Sure, do that. Yeah. Chali. All right. Thank you
you.
then.
Thank you,
See
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. Happy weekend, ma'am.
Okay.
Happy weekend to all.
You too, everyone.